Football fans, we're back with another episode of the Football v Football podcast. We got NF, we got Baggerz, and we're doing the Week 2 Pick'em show. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Football season's back.
Nice. Looking like Tony the Tiger with that lanyard, got the Tiger colors on. And we got OY just in time as we're doing the intro.
As unpredictable as ever.
What up?
How you doing, OY?
Doing good,
Cowboys
man.
fans, how you doing?
Starcast is here.
Oh, yeah, the defunct Starcast.
Hey, we're not done. We're not done. We're bringing it back.
Yeah, it's rebranding a little bit.
There
Okay.
you go. Well, you can have the Starcast through here. I mean, what a week. You guys effectively ended Deshaun Watson's career. I mean, you see what's going on now. They're spilling all this stuff about his past, and they're trying to get out of that 100 million plus cap hit.
There's no way they can do that. They have to eat $100 million, man.
I mean, the irony though, guys, we assaulted Deshaun Watson, and then another assault case against Deshaun Watson came out.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, we'll see, man. Promising start. I mean, listen, before that first game, or last week, this time, like maybe like a week before the season started, you didn't have CD and you didn't have Dak. Now you locked them both up. I'm sure you guys are pumped.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like I said, that like our apathy turned into like interest like that. But you know what, man? I kind of realized like we get played every season. Like every year we're getting played because Jerry knows what he's doing. Like he knew he was going to sign him from the beginning. He's just drawing us in, so it's whatever.
He got the headlines.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do this with Micah though. I really hope we avoid that.
Hey man, you better get ready for the holdout.
You know what? I'm okay with him. He could just jump into the game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
We'll start getting those Cabo videos next year.
And he's going to be doing podcasts all summer. You know that he's going to be fighting sumo wrestlers. Going to be doing podcasts. Going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Dedication, man.
Yeah. Anyway, little pre-pod chatter there, but we're going to jump right in. So this is the Week 2 NFL Pick'em show, and we got some great games this week. Starting with Thursday night, which is the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be a hot one, fellas. It's going to be 87 degrees. It was hot last week as well. I think it was in the 90s. It was super sunny. The cops were really active around, that Miami stadium. They were just like, arresting like the best player on the Dolphins. They were on one. But anyway, the Dolphins are 2.5-point favorites here. We'll start with NF. Dolphins at Bills. Sorry, Bills at Dolphins.
I mean, if you asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said the Dolphins would rout the Bills. But you got a couple injuries. I think Mostert's already been ruled as out. A-Chain has an ankle injury. He's going to be a game time decision. They have a Rook that was a healthy scratch, and also that arrest thing that you just brought up. I mean, I didn't even know Tyreek Hill had surgery on his knee, but apparently he had surgery on his knee. So there's that. Yeah, they barely got away with one against the Jags last week. Was it against the Jags? Was it against the Jags? Pretty sure.
Yeah, Jags were up, I think, 17-0 or 14-0.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't think they can win this game without those running backs. So it's going to come down to A-Chain for me. Also, as long as Josh Allen stays healthy, I think if he runs the same way he ran last week, there's no stopping the Bills in this game. I think the Bills will win this game. I'll give you a score.
Yeah.
27-24 Buffalo.
Ooh, close one. Oh, wow. Who you got in this AFC East battle?
Yeah. First of all, my bad if like my camera is shaking. I'm holding my phone like literally in my face. So
it's all good.
Us too.
I'm actually taking Miami here. I hear what Knife is saying, but this is basically the Shanahan scheme. So I don't think the running back matters that much. And they have a handful of running backs who can play. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about Tyreek either because, I mean, he didn't have surgery this week. He had surgery before, and he looked fine on Sunday.
He
So
did.
I'm not too worried about that. If it was in Buffalo, if the game was in Buffalo, I'd probably, go the other way. And I think these two teams will split it, like during the season anyway. So for this one, I'm going to take Miami winning comfortably, actually. I think they'll take it 31-21.
10-point win. Well, fellas, the Dolphins, I know they're going to be missing Raheem Mostert, and they're going to be missing probably A-Chain. I think he's questionable, but they got a rookie named Jalen Wright who looked really good in the preseason, who looks like a good running back, who they can just kind of stick into the scheme. Not only that, but what really matters in this offense is Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle. How many times have we seen the long connections between Tua and those receivers and them just outrunning everybody? To me, that's all they need. Not only that, but this is the Dolphins in September. And the Dolphins in September have been like almost unbeatable for like the past few years. They're really, really good. The hot weather is also going to play a part here. Buffalo, not really used to that as much. I hear what you're saying, Naif, about Josh Allen. He had a good game. James Cook was okay, but also those I'm kind of worried about the receivers on the Bills, honestly. Like I'm a fan of Keon Coleman a little bit. Khalil Shakir, I don't know that he can be like a 1 or a 2, really. They got Kincaid. I don't think they involved Kincaid very much last week, did
2
they?
targets, 1 catch.
So it was pretty much the Josh Allen show, and
They have
I think
Samuel. Don't forget that. They
who's
signed
that?
Samuel. Curtis Samuel, who also
Curtis
wasn't
Samuel.
really involved last week. Yeah.
Yeah. So they almost lost to the Cardinals. I don't really have a high opinion about the Cardinals. So I'm going with the Dolphins here. They're playing at Miami. I see it's a close game. I think it's going to be a 7-point game, maybe a little bit lower scoring than you guys. I say 24-17 Dolphins. Moving on to the next game, the New Orleans Saints at the Dallas Cowboys. We're getting this in early. This is y'all's game. Cowboys 6.5-point favorites. We'll start with OY this time. How is this going to go?
So I'm seeing a lot of there's a lot of caution on Twitter right now because I think Cowboys fans are worried that this is a trap game. I don't think so. A lot of people are comparing this to the Arizona game from last year, if you remember that game. But I don't think this is like that game at all. We were missing 3 of our starting offensive linemen in that game, and we were on the road in a place where we've historically played pretty poorly. So I don't see that happening here. It's the season. It's the home opener, and I expect the offense to be better this game. The Saints defense is pretty good, but I think what happened last week was, 1, the offense faced an elite defense, and 2, you saw a team that hadn't played all preseason. Really, that was basically their first preseason game. So I think we should win. I'm not going to go crazy, but I'm going to say it is still week 2, and the Saints do have good defense. So I'll say 27-16. I expect this defense to kind of continue to shut down opposing offenses, or at least look good doing it. So,
yeah, okay. NF, how are your Cowboys going to do?
Yeah, I don't know about this one, man. I don't think the Saints are anything like the Cardinals last year. I think the Saints are actually a good team. They have a collection of people that can run the ball with Kamara, Hill, and Jamal Williams. They still have that second year guy, Kendra Miller, who's out now, but they're gonna be a good team, I think, down the road. Um, I don't know. I'm hopeful. At the same time, there were some moments in the Cowboys game last week where it looked like they were slow, especially that first drive, and then after that second drive where they couldn't just score touchdowns. I think they're going to need to score touchdowns because the Saints can put up points on the board. I don't expect them to be as putrid as the Browns. Um, And it's going to be a test to see is this run defense really revamped or was that just bad bounce? So that's something I'm going to be looking forward to. I think the Cowboys will win, but I don't think it'll be a double-digit game. I hope it is. I think it'll be a lot closer. I'll go 27-20, Dallas.
27-20. Yeah, honestly, guys, the Cowboys were very impressive last week. I mean, they just look like what they looked like many games last year, just kind of blowing people out, just looking absolutely dominant. And that's how they look against the Browns, who I thought were an improved team. I don't know if this is just, Watson going off the rails, but that defense also, the Browns defense was one of the best in the league. You guys put up a lot of points on them. Like you mentioned, this is a Cowboys home opener. They look really good on defense. I like the offensive. I like CeeDee Lamb, obviously. I think Zeke played pretty well. I know they're alternating drives with Dowdle and Zeke. Zeke is impressing me how long he's been like a very, acceptable running back. But now, if you mentioned the Saints, they're surprisingly good. That speed from Rashid Shaheed. I mean, that guy just kind of beats everybody down the field. Those
I'm worried
those
about
running
that.
backs are surprisingly good too. Also, Olave didn't even have to get involved last week. I think he had nothing. He had maybe 20 yards or
Two
less.
catches down.
Right. But the Saints defense, they were playing the Panthers. You didn't really get a good feel for them. I don't think they're that great. But that offense, the Saints offense is a little bit underrated. So I think this is going to be a close one. I think the Cowboys do pull it out, but I think it's a 1-point game. I think it's 28-27. Dallas
I can see
pulls
that.
this out. All right, moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. Lions are favored here by 7.5 points. Naif, what do you think about this? Both of these teams looked pretty impressive last week. What do you think?
Yeah, you know how I feel about Baker Mayfield, guys. This guy's looking really good. I think he's putting it all together. He's really getting comfortable in that offense. I like Godwin in the slot. He went to him early and often last week, and then in the red zone he kept finding Mike Evans. And now they have a second running back, and this rookie, Bucky Irving.
Hmm.
I think Tampa Bay are going to surprise a lot of people this year. I mean, they made the playoffs last year and won a playoff game, but I think they're just as good as they were last year, if not better.
Hmm.
They're going to win the division. This is going to be a close game. I think if the Lions are able to stick to their brand of football and they're able to successfully run the ball, they should still win this game. But it's going to be a close one for me. I'll have it at 31-27, Tampa.
Hmm.
Detroit, sorry.
Detroit. Okay, close one.
It's
Oh,
at
wow.
Detroit, right?
It's at Detroit, at the Dome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. You got it.
Yeah, I think I would agree with a lot of what Naif was saying about Tampa Bay. I think Baker has definitely grown into an above average starter, I'd say. Like he's pretty solid. And I think Mike Evans is probably the most underrated receiver in the league. Maybe
Yes.
maybe one of the most underrated of all time.
Him and Lockett.
Yeah.
Big
But I think the Lions right now, like at this point, based off of last year and going into this year, I think they're a top 2 team in the NFC. And so I can't pick against them, even though I do think Tampa Bay is a playoff contender. Like they're definitely, I think, a playoff team. So I'll also go with a close game in what might be like the best game of that early slot, actually. I don't remember all the matchups, but this might be a good game. I'm going to say 24-21 Detroit on a late score.
Mm. Yeah, guys, the Bucks. There wasn't much you could say bad about the Bucks from what they did last week. They were good on offense. They were good on defense. Mike Evans looks great. Godwin, Jalen McMillan, the UW guy, looks great as a third receiver. Like you mentioned, Bucky Irving as a second running back. I think he might be better than Rashad White, to be honest with you. I think they have some legit weapons. I like their defense too. I think on defense they have like 4 guys from UW, and I'm a big fan of the Bucks, honestly. And I know the Lions also look good. They beat the Rams. They have a lot of weapons. Jamison Williams, not sure if he's going to play. I know he's questionable. He's a big factor in this one if Jameson Williams plays. This is going to be played in a dome. Anytime they play at Detroit, it seems like it's just like a high-scoring game, especially like the past couple of years. I think this is also going to be a high-scoring game, both of quarterbacks putting up a lot of points. I see a lot of scoring in this one. I think the Lions narrowly win this one 40-37. I think this is going to be a high-scoring one. I think this line – I think you bet the under on this line. Stuff with love, we don't bet, but I'm saying I think 7.5 points is too much. I think the Buccaneers deserve more respect than that. Moving on to the next one, Indianapolis Colts at Green Bay Packers. This is going to be a nice day in Green Bay. It's still September, 72 degrees. The Colts are 3-point favorites at the Packers here. This isn't a Brazil game. This isn't a game with Jordan Love. He's going to be out, even though they're saying he's doubtful on the injury report. He's not. He's definitely not playing.
Yeah, I can't even put him on my IR. It's sleeper. It sucks.
Yeah, I
had to drop there.
Yeah. So, what a turn just losing your quarterback makes. I know, what the Packers did in the playoffs last year was. It's tough, but are the Packers going to struggle? Do you think they're better this year? Do you think they're going to take down the Colts? What do you think?
It's trauma, man. I don't even want to talk about the Packers. But you know what's funny is I actually think they have a very deep wide receiver core. I don't think they have like a true number one, but they have like a bunch of guys who can kind of do the job, right, and spread it around. Problem is that I don't think they have anybody to get them the ball this week. Malik Willis is starting, right?
You know what? It looks like he is. There's another guy, Scott something, or
Clifford.
Yeah, there's another guy. It looks like Malik though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't see it. I can't see how they're going to score any points in this game, even though they're at home. So I'm going to take the Colts 24-10. I just don't see how Green Bay's going to score in this game.
Yeah, tough. NF, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, whoever's listening, if you've been listening for a few years now, you know that there's a nickname that we have for Malik Willis. It's Russell No Arms Wilson. This guy cannot throw the damn ball.
He's so bad. He couldn't even get a Hail Mary throw off last week. It was so painful.
Horrible. And this guy sucks.
Why couldn't he throw the ball? Why couldn't he throw the ball last week on the Hail Mary?
I don't know. He was scared because he has no arms. Exactly.
Are you there? I think you're covering the mic.
Yeah, sorry guys. I got cut off for a second. Yeah, I was gonna say if Jordan Love's out for a few games, I think the Packers should just go ahead and sign Ryan Tannehill and start him. They can sign.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I got cut off again.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think they'll win it by a margin just because the Packers are going to find it hard to move the ball down the field. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball with the Colts focusing on the run. The one saving grace is if Green Bay can manufacture something with Jaden Reed, like on those sweeps or short passes, maybe they stand a chance, but I doubt it. So I'm going to take the Colts here. I'm going to take them to win 27-12.
27-12. Yeah. I'm looking at the Packers depth chart because I'm trying to figure out who the third string quarterback is. It's not showing up on ESPN, but
Clifford, right? It's got to be Clifford. Not Clifford. What's his name? Something like that. He's got one of those.
Heard of before. But Malik Willis might be the worst quarterback I've seen in like the past 5 years in the NFL. And if it was anybody else, if it was like a half competent, there are many teams that have very competent backups, Jameis Winston, Sam Howell, Michael Penix, all these type of guys. If it was anybody that was even remotely competent, I would take the Packers here because the Colts last week pretty much thrived off of a few plays. It was a few big throws by Richardson, and they were great. They were great passes. I think it was like 3 big passes. I think he had maybe 9 completions total, and they still somehow put up a fight against the Colts, but because against the Texans, but because those throws were so great, they resulted in points. I'm not that impressed with the Colts, but because it's Malik Willis playing quarterback, I don't know how he's going to get it to Jaden Reed, who was like a great player. I didn't know much about him before, but he's a great player. Or Christian Watson or Dobbs or Josh Jacobs, who only plays in the second half of games. Is that right, OY? Only plays in the second half.
Yeah.
That's it. He didn't even show up in the first half. I don't know. Did Jonathan Taylor have a good game? I didn't see him do much last week.
No, he didn't. Scored a touchdown, but that's about it.
This is going to be – listen, give me the Colts 10-7. This is just going to be just a low-scoring game.
The Colts can score. The Colts can score, man.
Those are just 3 big throws by Richardson. We'll see, man.
He can run the ball too, man.
He can.
Yeah.
10-7 Colts.
Okay.
So this line is perfect. This is a 3-point favorite for the Colts. So,
what's the over/under? I'm sure it's not 17.
I don't know. I didn't look at over/under.
That's really isn't it really like a 6-point line though? Because they're on the road.
That's true.
Isn't that how it works?
That's a good point.
Yeah. 3 points for the home team. Yes.
Yeah, they think Colts are 6 points better. You're right. But yeah, it's gonna be tough to watch with Malik Willis. It's gonna be like a low light reel. Anyway, New York Jets at Tennessee Titans. It's going to be another good day, 75 degrees, no weather here. Jets are 3.5-point favorites. Titans coming off a tough loss, blowing a 17-0 lead to the Bears. And then the Jets, man, just kind of disappointing, not really showing up for most of the game against the Niners. NF, we'll start with you here. Jets at Titans. What do you think is going to happen?
Who's the Titans' backup QB?
Titans backup?
Do you have any idea? Because Will Levis threw the game last week, man. That was all on Will Levis. They should have won that game. He had a boneheaded pick six. I don't see the Titans winning many games this year if Levis is going to be starting all year. He shows flashes. He's got some sort of arm talent, but the accuracy is a problem, and he needs to cut down these boneheaded plays. I don't think the Titans stand a chance here. I don't even know who they're playing. Can you say it again? I forgot. Is it the Jets? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Jets are going to win this game. It's a bounce back game for Rodgers and Saleh. I think the Jets win this one. I'll say 27-17.
Okay, close one. Oh, why? Jets at Titans.
You know what's funny is you said bounce back game for Aaron Rodgers. I actually thought he looked all right last week, or on Monday. Some of his throws were throwback. Like that one drive he had 2 throws. That same drive where he threw that touchdown to Alan Lazard. So I thought he looked all right actually.
A little rusty though. A little rusty. A little rusty with his mobility, with the.
I don't think he's going to have the same mobility at this age with the Achilles. Like he probably won't be able to move around, but it'll just be like the 2014 playoff game where they're picking him up and carrying him to the huddle. But he can still beat you, I think. And they have weapons. They're supposed to have the roster. They didn't really show up last week. But then again, it was San Francisco, so it's kind of hard to I think, draw a conclusion from that. I will give it to the Jets to win this game pretty decisively. I think Tennessee is kind of in a weird rebuild kind of era where they drafted a guy, and I don't know what else they have to kind of put around him right now. I don't know what to think of him right now. So I'm going to take the Jets to win this, and I'll say 24 to, I'll say 13. I think that defense can still be pretty elite.
Okay. Guys, I'm sorry. The Titans, other than Will Levis, looked pretty good to me last week. I think they have some great weapons. I like
They do.
your boy Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears as a backfield, I think they're good. I think they look really good. I think some of the offensive weapons at receiver too, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins still looks good. Tyler Boyd, Treylon Burks, Nick Westbrook, Akine. I think they can be maximized. I think Will Levis came out and took the blame for this one. And I think he's going to play pretty conservative. He's just going to get the ball to his playmakers this week. He's going to be completely different than he was last week. I think he's going to play a much cleaner game. Meanwhile, the Jets, I agree with you, OY. Aaron Rodgers had some flashes of what he was, but I think when your best receiver right now is Alan Lazard, Mike Williams, I don't know if he played. It didn't seem like he played. Malachi Corley didn't show up. I don't know where Malachi Corley is. I don't know who the rest of their receivers are. Did they pick up another guy?
Got Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Garrett Wilson.
What am I saying? Of course. Yeah, he's their best receiver. Yeah, you're right. That sounds stupid. Anyway, listen. I think Breece Hall is good too. I think he's a great runner. But I just think the Titans, if they're able to play, a mistake-free game from Will Levis, and he's gonna, they're at Tennessee.
Whoa.
I'm taking the Titans on this one, working off the momentum of a 17-0 lead last week. They're going to come back. They're going to be hungry in this one. I'm going against that line. I'm taking the Titans. Give me the Titans 20-18.
I will say, you mentioned Pollard and that run game. I forgot that they got Callahan. So how the run game goes. So I'm still gonna take the Jets, but I'm gonna give them more points. I'm gonna say 24-7. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say 24-17 because their run game it will work no matter what. So
they're good. No, honestly, they look really good against the Bears early on. So I think the Jets once they play a home game I think they'll get a win, but not in this one. I don't think so. San Francisco 49ers at the Minnesota Vikings. Niners are 6-point favorites here. OY, tell me what you're going to say. Lay it on me. I'm probably not going to like it, but
I'm sorry, man. I think that's too low. I think they're going to win this game pretty decisively. They look like they picked up where they left off last year, and McCaffrey's probably not going to play, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think, man, I don't know what else to say. They're the class of the NFC right now, and they look to be clicking. So I'm going to take the 49ers in a pretty decisive victory. I'll say 30-20. I think the Vikings score some late. Darnold looked okay. He has some weapons. I think he's like a serviceable quarterback. But, I don't see this being much of a competitive game for most of it.
Sam Darnold is very interesting. I'm seeing a lot of people make a comparison between Sam Darnold and Geno Smith, that they were not given chances early on, a lot of bad breaks, but they have the talent to be, a top 20 quarterback, like a legit starter in the league. And if you
couldn't disagree more, Omar. Couldn't disagree more. He got a chance. We've seen this before, guys. He did this with the Panthers the first 3 weeks. Everybody was like, "Wow, this guy's a world beater." Jets should have kept him, and then he played the Cowboys in that second half. He wet the bed, and he was never the same since. And I think he's going to do that again. But I think it's going to start earlier. This time it starts in week 2 against the San Francisco 49ers. I think the Niners are going to just trample them. Like OY said, McCaffrey's not playing, but it doesn't matter. I think you could start the ghost of O.J. Simpson right now, and they're still going to be able to run for like 150 yards. Niners are going to kill them. I don't even want to put a score. They'll win by at least 3.
At least 3 touchdowns?
At least 3 scores.
At least 3 scores. So 20, is that 21 or 9?
That's at least 17.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Listen, man. The Vikings, they put up a lot of points against the Giants last week. What was it, 34-6? You see us?
Your screen froze.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, what I was saying is the Vikings looked great against the Giants last week, didn't they? Put 34 points up. It's 34-6.
Everybody looks good against the Giants, man.
They got Justin Jefferson. He's a good player. That's about as much as I can say about the Vikings, honestly, man. Honestly, I wish I could, just pick against the 49ers. I wish I could do that every week. But you're right, OY. They plugged in Jordan Mason, a nobody, and he went out and had a great game. It's that run scheme that they have. It's Debo, the running back that's masquerading as a wide receiver. It's Brandon Ayuk. It's Jawan Jennings. It's the system. It's the Shanahan system. It's just like McVay. It doesn't really matter who's in there. He's going to run his system, and if they're half decent, they're going to have success. And of course, the defense is really good. Did Trent Williams play? Is he still
He
holding
played.
out? Yeah. So I mean, unfortunately, nobody's going to beat these guys for a while. I don't think, unless something happens. I think they should be investigated for that chicanery they pulled with not telling anybody that Christian McCaffrey wasn't going to play, and Jordan Mason saying he was going to play on Friday. That's messed up. Messed up for a lot of people. He wasn't even on the injury report, CMC. So I hope they find him big time. I hope they give him like maybe 3 losses for that. I think that's probably a fair punishment.
I think they mentioned it on Saturday though. I think they got away with that.
They mentioned it on Saturday.
Yeah, they made it questionable right before the game, the day before the
Everyone's
game.
questionable. Everyone's questionable.
They got.
I mean,
I think you have to say it by Friday. I think that's.
Yeah,
I don't know.
is it?
That's what I thought. I could be wrong.
yeah. Well, they said. Well, Jordan Mason said he was going to start on Friday. They said
Maybe they're
coaches
gonna
said he
bench
was going to start on
McCaffrey.
Friday.
Maybe McCaffrey comes off the bench. Who knows?
Yeah,
Anybody can run behind this offense.
it seems like it. It seems like it. But yeah, give me the Niners. Unfortunately, they'll win by a couple scores. I don't care how much they score. Anyway, moving on. Seattle Seahawks at the New England Patriots. This is going to be a nice day up in Boston, 72 degrees. Seahawks are a 3.5-point favorite. Why don't you get started here?
Me?
What do you see
Over
as an
here?
outside observer? I'm curious because Patriots had a surprisingly good game. I don't know what you saw of the Seahawks, but yeah, get your perspective and then I'll round it
Did
out
the
as well.
Pats have a surprisingly good game, or did the Bengals have a really bad game? I think it's the
There's
latter.
two sides to the story.
Yeah, I think it's the latter. We've also seen this from Jacoby Brissett. He's good enough to win you a couple of games, but I mean that's about it. I don't think. I think the Hawks had a bad game too, and they still came out with one last week. I think they're just getting used to Grubb and McDonald and this whole new scheme. But they showed that they were still able to run the ball. Kenneth Walker ran for over 100 yards. He looked phenomenal. I think Gino can clean up a few things. He made a couple costly mistakes last game, but I think he will. I think this Pats defense is better than the Broncos, but I think that I expect the Seahawks to play better. Expect them to win this game as well. It's gonna be a 2-0 start for your Hawks. Give a score. I think the Hawks can score. I don't think the Pats can. So I'll say 24-10.
Okay, nice. Oh, why? What do you think?
Yeah, I'll make it short and sweet and give you the floor. I agree with Knife. I think last week, I think the Bengals kind of just laid an egg. And I think the Patriots just, benefited from that. I don't think they're like sorry, but I also don't think they're like a really good team. So I'll say the Seahawks win this game. I'm feeling like 23-14.
Nice. Well, I love to see like outside observers what they think about the Hawks. I do Seahawks recaps as well on this channel. If you guys want to tune into that, I watched the game. I watched every second of that game. I live tweeted that game. I was very interested in what the Seahawks were going to look like under McDonald. I was very happy with the defense. PFF gave Reek Woolen and Witherspoon some of the highest grades. Mafe was great. Leonard Williams was great. They got a lot of QB hits, a lot of pressures. Even Byron Murphy, the rookie, And that linebacking core, I didn't think that they could do much better than Wagner and whoever they were throwing out there last year. But Tyrell Dodson and Jerome Baker really pleasantly surprised with them, especially Dodson. That guy was everywhere. The only point of concern I have here is that offensive line. George Fant went down. It's a hodgepodge. You're already missing Abe Lucas at the right tackle. All you got is Charles Cross, who was also highly graded on PFF, one of the highest graded. He's a left tackle. But the center, Connor Williams, he's coming off of injury. Laken Tomlinson, the left guard, just getting beat. Anthony Bradford, 2 holding calls that, they had 2 safeties. Did you guys know that? They almost allowed 3 safeties.
Almost a third, yeah.
In the first half. That's how bad this offensive line was. That I think that's the first time it ever happened in history. 3 safeties in the first half. But so
tried to tell you about Connor Williams.
Yeah, he seemed okay on run blocking a little bit. What do you think?
He's okay, man. That's what he is.
Yeah. Dude, Gino was struggling out there, man, having barely any time to throw it. I mean, that what's his name, Jonathan Cooper on the Broncos. Just every play was in the backfield. Of course, I still believe in the weapons of the Hawks, like you mentioned. Ken Walker was great running on that right side. The right side of the line is good at run blocking. Zach Charbonnet was getting open. Of course, DK, Lockett, and JSN, I think they're great, and I still think Gino is also good. Long-winded way to say I believe in the Seahawks, but they need to shore up that offensive line. As for the Patriots, I think they're going to be a tough defense. I think they're just always going to be a good defense. It just seems to me like they're playing at Gillette as well. They're not going to be any slouches on defense. On offense, Ramondre, I know they run block pretty well, but the receivers, I don't know who they got at receiver. They're not giving Jalen Polk any time. It's DeMario Douglas. It's a bunch of other guys that I don't know who they are. They're going to get, I think, completely shut down. So it's going to come down to the Seahawks playing good run defense and being able to play on offense at least decently. I'm taking the Seahawks here. Obviously, I'm a Seahawks fan. I'm going to take them to win this one. Maybe a similar game to the Broncos. Maybe not giving up that late touchdown. I'll take them 26-17. And I hope I'm not wrong. Anyway, moving on. New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. Nice game. Nice weather here, 74 degrees. Commanders are only a 1.5 favorite playing at home. So I don't know if that tells you that they think the Giants are going to win or they're just 2 teams of futility here. OY, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, so let me pick this, and then I got to pause for like 5 minutes, and then I'll come right back.
Okay.
I don't know what to make of this game, man. It's like a weird divisional. Weird stuff always happens, and you have 2 rebuilding teams. I will say, though, I think the Commanders are a little further ahead than the Giants are. They have a guy who could be like a quarterback, right? We saw some traits from him. I still need to see, obviously, it's early, right? It was his first game, so we still need to see how he reads and processes defenses and how he does all that stuff. But in the immediate kind of present, I think he definitely presents a threat, right? He's a playmaker. So I think that they have an element that the Giants don't have, because I don't see any threats on that team. Like, no offensive threats. The only thing that they have, I like Wan'Dale Robinson. I think he's pretty good, and I think he's kind of stuck on maybe the worst team in the league, like a bottom 3 team at least. Yeah. Their offensive line is bad.
Yes.
Their defense has underperformed. I don't know what's going on with Thibodeau. Giants fans are not happy with him. So 1 point seems this should be at least they should be 3-point favorites. I know the Commanders suck, but they're not as bad as the Giants. So I would say I think the Commanders are going to take this. It's their season, it's their home opener too, so they'll be pumped up for it. So I think the Commanders take this. I'll say 24-13. I just think the Giants are a bad team, man.
Oof. Naif, what do you think of this matchup between NFC East Titans?
When I think of this matchup, I want to barf. It's a horrible game. I don't care for both these teams. They both suck. Um, honestly, I'm going to pick the Commanders just because we've seen that they can score a touchdown. Um, Daniel Jones is horrible.
Yeah.
I think I, I think the Commanders should be favored way more than they are. I get it. They got a rookie quarterback. They have a rookie head coach. They have all these things going against them, but they showed that they can score the ball at least. You know, their kicker missed a couple of field goals last week. If he makes those, it's a completely different ballgame, I think. So I'm gonna take the Commanders. The Giants need to move away from Daniel Jones. I think it's over. Problem is he's untradeable. He's locked into that contract. I don't know what they can do. But yeah, I'm taking the Commanders. I feel bad for Wandale, like OY said, and Malik Neighbors. Neighbors is a heck of a talent too.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take the Commanders easily.
Mm. All right. I might get a little ambitious here. This is my take. This is my take. All right. So I think you guys are underplaying a little bit how bad the Commanders looked last week. They looked terrible, terrible on defense. Jaden Daniels couldn't get the ball to Terry McLaurin at all. He had no connection. He was just running around. Looked like a little bit of RG3 there. Brian Robinson, I think, is just a little slow. He's kind of just lost a step. I don't really believe much in their running game. The defense looked bad. Meanwhile, I understand how bad the Jets looked, but I think they have weapons. I like Malik Neighbors. I like Wandale Robinson. I like the backup running back for them, Tyrone Tracy. Those who knows about Tyrone Tracy know that he should be having more playing time than Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary didn't do basically anything. And I know that the Giants' defense doesn't look great, but Daniel Jones at times has flashed. Okay. He has some skill. I don't think he can play much worse than he did last week. He has had good games in the past. Jaden Daniels is still a rookie. Giants defense still has some players. So I know this is a bit of a shocking pick, but I'm going to go with the Giants to win this one. I think it's going to be a low scoring one. I'm going to take the Giants here 17-16. All right, we're moving on now to the Los Angeles Chargers at the Carolina Panthers. Fellas, are either of you there? I think both of them took a bathroom break, so I'm going to power on here. Los Angeles Chargers at the Carolina Panthers. This is going to be a nice game in 72-degree weather. People are going to go there to do some tanning. They're going to have whole sections to themselves. I heard that the cheapest ticket there is like $1.50 at the Carolina Panthers stadium there. So go there to just, enjoy yourself. You can probably bring your own food. They're not going to say anything about that. You can own the whole stadium. Bring the family, have a party, have a picnic. There's not going to be much going on in Carolina in that stadium. Chargers only favored by 6 points here. That's it. That's how low they think of the Chargers. NF, do you agree?
Absolutely not. I think the Panthers should be favored by 6 points here.
Really? You love
No,
Bryce Young, secret Bryce Young
absolutely,
fan.
absolutely not. I feel bad for Bryce Young, man. He looked horrible last week.
Yeah.
I just felt like you couldn't see over the line. I felt like the height issue really came into play. I mean, he was climbing the pocket well, but that was just to see. He couldn't see. So he had to climb the pocket, and then he would throw a boneheaded interception. I like this Chargers team. I really liked what I saw from J.K. Dobbins, and I think it's
Mhm.
really telling that Harbaugh gets the job there in Los Angeles, and then recruits two running backs from his brother's old team.
Of course.
And Dobbins
Surprise. They always
just
help each other.
yeah, no, but I'm surprised that he went after those running backs. I mean, it tells you something, right?
Yeah.
Um, if Dobbins can stay healthy, I think this guy could be really good. He looked really, really elusive out there. He had a 62-yard run, a 45-yard run. Obviously, he's gonna eat up all those short passes. I don't think Gus Edwards is much of a pass catching back, but I think they can run the ball all year, and I like the fact that they're trying to do that because they don't have the weapons, or they don't have weapons that they had the past few years, Mike Williams or Keenan Allen. I like the rookie lad. He seems really good.
Mhm.
Um,
It's Mick
and
Honky, by the way, not Mick Honky. I know people are thinking that it's not Mick Honky, it's McConkey.
yeah, but he's a honky, so we're gonna call him McConkey. I'm expecting a bounce back year from Quentin Johnson. I think he could do something.
Mhm.
Maybe he wasn't a first round pick. He shouldn't have been a first round pick, but hey, I'm gonna take the Chargers to win this one. But I don't think it's gonna be like a dismantling. I think Panthers will play better than they did last week because it doesn't get worse, right? So I'll take them 27 to 16.
Okay. All right. I don't think OY's back yet, so I'm going to take this one. Of course, the Panthers are just putrid. They're just
Yeah.
pathetic. Everything about them is pathetic. They have a lot of injuries too. Their rookie running back Jonathan Brooks is out. They lost another their star, I think, defensive end. I forget his name. They lost him. I think they're missing some offensive linemen. They're just so bad. And even though they got Deontay Johnson, I don't think he did much. Xavier Leggett, I think he had like maybe 30 yards. Just everything about that organization, I think they have to sell. I think, they just, I don't know. They need a fresh start. They need just everything to turn over. Now, you mentioned the Chargers and how you were impressed with them. I think it was a little bit of fool's gold. I think once you get past the front line of the Raiders, I think the Raiders defense is pretty bad. I think they have a good defensive line, but other than that, once J.K. Dobbins was able to break free from that, the guys on the defensive line of the Raiders, he was able to go. And I don't think he looked that fast. I think he had some elusiveness, but like somebody said, it looked like he was running with a piano on his back. I think he's lost some of his explosiveness because of all the injuries he's had. Gus Edwards, unfortunately, didn't do much. I think he could be better than Dobbins. I know this sounds crazy coming off of how great a game Dobbins had, but I think that was a product of the Raiders defense. And McConkey was a good, like, fast, twitchy receiver, but those other guys, Palmer and Quinton, I don't know that I'm much of a believer in them. Of course, I'm going to give the Chargers this game, but long term, I don't like Harbaugh. I don't think he's going to do well. I think he's a cheater. I think he's a crybaby. I'm not a fan of his, but he's playing the Panthers, so I'm going to give him this game. I don't know, man. What are we saying here? We're saying maybe 2010, 20-10 Chargers. Moving on now to your previous week's opponent, the Cleveland Browns at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Going to be a hot day in Jacksonville, 81 degrees. Jaguars, 3-point favorites here. Is Deshaun going to be able to stay focused and do anything in this game?
I think the Browns do better this game, but I I don't think they win this game. I think the Jags are a better team. Um, Browns need to stick with the run. You know, they should have ran the ball against us. They were trying to turn the clock back with Deshaun Watson and have him throw the ball in every play, and you don't do that against the Dallas defense. I think they stick to the run, those short passes to Jerome Ford. I was about to call him Jacoby Ford.
Mm-hmm.
If they throw it to him and try to run the ball, stick with it, I think it'll be a closer game. But Deshaun just looks horrible, man.
Okay.
I thought that last year, you know, I was telling you guys maybe the Browns should have kept Baker over him, and the year before. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like the way he's looked since he left Houston. I mean, it's just that 1 year in Houston. Essentially, this guy got paid for that, and it was an amazing year where he won that playoff game. But yeah, I don't see it. I think Jameis Winston's going to end up starting for the Browns at some point. But
Yeah.
the Jags are going to win this game. Jags are going to win this game. They got targets. I like the rookie Brian Thomas. I like Gabe Davis. Evan Ingram only had one catch last week. I think he'll be involved more.
Yes.
Tank Bigsby.
Yes.
Tank Bigsby might take all these carries from Etienne. I mean, he looked like the
He
better
should.
runner. Yeah, I think keep Etienne as a pass catcher and run the ball with Bigsby. I think they're going to win by 2 scores.
Yeah. Honestly, you took a lot of my points. I was going to say a lot of that same stuff, especially about Ingram and about Bigsby. I like the Jaguars. Of course, they went up on the Dolphins last week, 14-0, and then just kind of imploded. But, dude, I don't know what's going on with Deshaun. It's unexplainable. It's unexplainable. There's stuff going on in the background. What happened to him in Houston, where he was, I think, what I forget why he was pushed out of Houston. He was trying to get paid. He didn't get paid, and so they exposed him. And then now, because they gave him so much money, he's not playing well. They're trying to expose him again. Everyone's trying to expose this guy, and he's exposing himself to everyone. So I mean, there's a lot of exposure going on. Anyway, I think Jameis or DTR, DTR I think is good as well. Will end up starting at some point because this Deshaun thing is just crazy. David Njoku, I think, is out now. I think he suffered an injury. He's going to be out at least 4 weeks. He's either on IR or out for the season. It's a shame. They have Jerry Jeudy and they have Amari Cooper. They have weapons, and the defense is very good. Of course, Myles Garrett. It's a great defense, even though you guys exposed. Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win this one. It's at Jacksonville. There's going to be some crazy stuff that starts going on in Cleveland. It's going to be a story. Give me Jacksonville here. Give me them 27-17. No, 27-13. Jags. All right, moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders at the Baltimore Ravens. Going to be a nice day in Baltimore, 76 degrees. This is the biggest line of the week. This is Ravens 9-point favorites. You impressed with the Ravens? You agree with this line?
I do think they ran away from Derrick Henry way too early last week. We saw a lot of Justice Hill short passes, and then we saw Lamar trucking people. I don't know what the hell he's doing. He was trucking people with his throwing shoulder, and it's no surprise that he's questionable. He's coming up. It's questionable. He said he's sore. I think they need to lean in on Derrick Henry, man. The way this offense is built, I think a back like that can have an amazing year. I know Henry's going to know. Too slow?
Yeah.
I don't think the speed really matters if you're getting 6 yards a clip, and I think they should just run the ball with him. And okay, maybe go get another big back. You had Gus Edwards last year. I think Henry is way better than Gus Edwards. I think he's faster than Gus Edwards. I think if they stick to that and to keep Lamar healthy, Lamar is at his lowest playing weight ever, I think.
Really?
Yeah, and he's out there trucking people. Lamar can't run the ball like that.
He can.
So I think if they avoid that and they stick to running with their running backs instead of their running back that's playing quarterback, I think they win this game handedly. But I don't think the Raiders are a bad team. But they can't run the ball. Zamir White, I didn't like what I saw from Zamir White.
He's no good.
He's no good. He looked horrible, and he got out-touched by Madison almost. I think Madison almost had double his carries, or double his touches. I'm going to take the Ravens to win this one. I like the line at 9. I think they cover that. I think they win by 14 at least.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, man, I'm not a Lamar guy, obviously. I think he's reckless. I think he's a runner masquerading as a quarterback. We talked about this ad nauseum if you listen to any podcast previously. Like you said, he's going to get injured. The fact that he's at his lowest playing weight tells me it's only a matter of time, unless he's like wearing titanium or something. I don't know what he's doing to protect himself. Isaiah Likely is emerging, I think, as a guy that might be replacing Mark Andrews. He has a lot of weapons Zay Flowers is good. Bateman has always been good, but he just hasn't been able to utilize them. Of course, he's got the guys, and I think Derrick Henry, the way you use him is you got to put him in space. I don't think that he's like just generally a guy that you just run out of the I formation or something like that. You gotta throw the ball to him on screens. You gotta like get him in some space, and then he can really take off and start to truck people. He needs a few yards in order to get going before he's effective. But I think he's kind of slow if you just play him out of the backfield. Raiders, we mentioned them. I think other than their line, Crosby and I think Jack Jones, they have a good defensive line, but the rest of their linebackers and their secondary are just really bad. Like you said, Zamir White is bad. the receivers are eventually going to get really fed up with this. Devontae is going to get fed up. Jacoby Myers is going to get fed up. Bowers, he was getting the ball to him a little bit, but they had no run game. They were just kind of playing the pass eventually. They figured that out. So I'm upset as a guy that owns Devontae in like pretty much all of my leagues. My worst fear came to life, which is this is going to be a long year again. Devontae's probably going to demand a trade, and it's not going to be pretty. But give me the Ravens here. Obviously, they're playing at Baltimore. It might get ugly. I don't know. I'm going to say 34-17 Ravens. Oh, why we got you back. What do you think about the Raiders at the Ravens?
I'll give you that, and I'll give you the other games I missed real quick if you know with it.
Browns at Jags.
Browns at Jags.
Okay. Chargers at Panthers.
Chargers.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure?
Yeah, that was...
Sure about that one?
I don't know. Let me think about it. What was that last one?
Now it's Raiders at Ravens.
Raiders at Ravens. I'm going to take Baltimore. I think they have I'll let you guys, like you guys already talked about the game. I'll just say I think the Raiders right now are missing a culture of winning. They don't know what winning, this specific team, right? This iteration doesn't know what winning is, and so they're still building. The Ravens know. Baltimore knows what winning is, and they have that culture. So
that's a good point. Just win, baby.
Speaking of that, guys, by the way, I don't know if you guys watched the game last week, but it popped up on Red Zone. The Raiders are down 16-10 in the fourth quarter, and they had a 4th and 1 from the Chargers 48 or something, 47, and they punted the ball.
I saw that. Yeah,
What the hell was that?
Pierce, yeah, he got criticized for that big time. I don't know.
I don't get
I
it.
don't know what happened to him. He got scared. That's not the way they played last year. That's not what got him this job.
Exactly.
It's going to get ugly in Las Vegas before it gets better. But we'll move on to another game, which I think is pretty interesting. The Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are 1-point favorites in this one. I'm going to give it to you here. What do you think about this NFC West matchup?
wow, I'm a little surprised that Arizona's the favorite here. I don't think Arizona.
Puka's injured.
Yeah. Wait, who's? Oh, Puka. Yeah.
Yeah.
They still have Cooper Cup though, man. It doesn't matter. It does matter, but they have guys to make up for it. I think Arizona's not as bad as kind of like the common perception of them is. I think they have some pieces, but I wouldn't make them 1-point favorites here. I think the Rams are a sneaky good team. They were in a playoff team last year, right?
I think they did make the playoffs.
Did they make playoffs?
I think maybe they were booted in the first.
I know they were contending for a playoff spot last year, and I think
They did. They lost to the Lions.
Oh, that's right. They lost in the divisional round. Yeah, I think they've gotten a little bit better actually since that point. I don't think they're like a top tier NFC team, but I do think they're like kind of in the mix. Stafford's, he's a good quarterback. What else can you say? And I think the Rams, barring like a crazy division stuff that happens, as you know, it's your division. I think the Rams are going to win this one. Not like in a blowout, but I think this would be like either a 7 or a 10-point game. I just think that the Rams are a good team. And like very quietly, it just seems like they're kind of flying under the radar right now. So I'll say the Rams win this 27-20.
Okay. NF. What do you got?
Yeah, we were kind of chatting about this earlier. Kyler Murray not throwing Marvin Harrison. He made that statement. He said, "I throw the guys that are open," but that's exactly what he didn't do when he threw in the triple coverage to Greg Dortch. Listen, man, I think the Rams are going to win this only because I think Kyler's petty, and what he's going to do now is he's only going to throw it to Marvin Harrison when he's double or triple covered. He's going to throw some interceptions and be like, "See, I told you." And I expect Harrison to have a bounce back game. He's going to get targets this week, but Rams are gonna win this game. I honestly, I'm not joking. I really believe Kyler Murray's pretty like that. Um,
Mhm.
he's not willing to admit that Marvin Harrison was wide open and he threw it to Greg Dortch in triple coverage with the game on the line. If you watch that whole drive, Harrison had single coverage.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I
I
really don't
trust
understand.
Greg Dortch. I'm a Greg Dortch guy.
In triple coverage over Marvin
In
Harrison?
quadruple coverage.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's a Napoleon complex. I think they both have Napoleon complex, so that's
Mhm.
something they can relate to. You know, Dortch is almost as short as Kyler. But yeah, the Rams are going to win this game. Puka or no Puka, they have the weapons. They have Cup. They have Demarcus Robinson. I think they can run the ball with Kyron. Who's their backup? I know Corum didn't play.
Ronnie Rivers, and they should be playing Corum. They didn't give him a single snap, but
Yeah,
Blake
he
Corum
didn't
could
get
be the
snapped.
starter in that team, in my opinion.
Yeah, Rams are a good team. They could have won that last game if they didn't get down so big. So I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think it's gonna be a higher score game. I'll say 34-30, Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
NF, I don't know if you heard, but it's not Kyler Murray's job to throw the ball to Marvin Harrison.
No, it's not. It's not.
Did you
It's the
hear
backup
that?
QB's job. Yeah, I saw.
Exactly. And man, they're trying to really disparage Kyler Murray. He was basically just saying toward the open guy, which was Greg Dortch in triple coverage. Obviously, listen, in the NFC West, there's a carousel that's been going on for years. The Seahawks beat the
Why,
Cardinals.
you okay?
Why? Are we having a Shannon Sharp moment? Just kidding.
What happened?
There's a lot of noise. Anyway, so there's a carousel that goes on in the NFC West. Okay, the Rams always beat the Niners. The Niners always beat the Seahawks. Seahawks always beat the Cardinals, and the Cardinals always seem to have the Rams number for whatever reason. They just seem to beat them. Okay, it's unexplainable. It's something I've seen in the NFC West just like year after year after year, and they're playing at home, and they just beat them. Um, Cardinals looked, I guess a little bit better against the Bills last week than a lot of us expected. The Rams are missing Puka Nakua, and I think they're missing Note Boom. I think I think an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Like you said, Matt Stafford is going to throw to Cooper Kupp 30 times this game. By far, he had the most targets last week at 21. I like their other receivers. The guy from Texas, I forget his name. He's a good receiver on the Rams. I think they should play
Oh,
Corum.
Winnington. He's really
Winnington,
good.
very good.
Yeah, he's really good.
I think the Rams have a good team. Okay, I think the Rams have a better team than the Cardinals. Even though I like Buda Baker on the Cardinals, but due to just forces of nature that are unexplainable, I'm going to take the Cardinals to win this because that's always what happens. So give me the Cardinals here, and 27-20, I think is going to be the final score. Moving on now. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Denver Broncos. This is going to be another really hot game, 87 degrees in Denver. They got that hot sun. They're at an elevation. But the Steelers are favored by 2.5 points after kicking 6 field goals and doing nothing else in that game against the Falcons. NF, what do you think is going to go on Steelers at Broncos?
Yeah, this is my last pick. I really hope Russell Wilson plays. It'll be interesting if he does. I think the Steelers are going to win this game. Bo Nix, I mean, they need to help him out there. They couldn't run the ball. Payne needs to stick with the run, at least, so they can manufacture some sort of pass. Um, I'm gonna go with the Steelers here. Doesn't matter who starts at QB. I think they'll be able to move the ball. Hopefully, they can score touchdowns instead of field goals. They kicked 5 field goals last week and won the game. That's insane.
That's
Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I think it'll be a little bit closer than people expect. What was the line again, Omar?
2.5.
Oh, in that case, I think it won't be as close as people think. I think the Steelers will win by a touchdown.
Hmm.
20-13, Pittsburgh.
Okay. Oh, why?
Signing off. See you guys.
All right, NF, thanks, bro. Have a
Yep,
good day.
take care.
Uh, I don't. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of Bo Nix, to be honest. I know he had a lot of preseason hype, a lot of training camp hype. So there's a lot of this hype that's kind of surrounding him going into the season. But I'm still waiting to see kind of how this plays out. And we talked about this. The Steelers, for whatever reason, just find a way to win. I have no idea how they do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Like, if they don't have a quarterback, like, it doesn't matter. I would imagine Russell Wilson's going to play this game, and they'll probably get more. I would guess that they would get more of a steady quarterback play this week. So I'll kind of agree with Naif. I think the Steelers will win this one, and I'll say 27-21. It'll basically be the line.
Yeah. I think this is a case of we're not fully able to assess a lot of these teams. I know a lot of starters don't play in the preseason, and with the Broncos, I don't know if it's the Seahawks that are just a great defense, and then with the other side, I don't know if it's the Falcons that are just in disarray because the Steelers didn't really look that great. The Broncos didn't really look that great. I don't think Bo Nix is as bad as he displayed last week. I saw him in college. He played really well. I think they have pieces of a good team, but the Steelers, they just have a little bit more experience. They have Pickens, they have Warren and Najee Harris, and the Broncos are they're a young team, they're inexperienced, but the Steelers, I think when you look at them overall, I don't think they're that great, but the defense is good. And of course I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. I don't know that Denver is going to round into shape until maybe midway through the season. So give me the Steelers here. I'll take them in a low-scoring game. I don't think many points are going to be scored in this one. I'm going to go 17-13 Steelers. Moving on to Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be another sunny game, 84 degrees. Chiefs are 5-point favorites. Are the Bengals going to get off the mat in this one, or is this going to be another Chiefs rout?
Oh God. I feel like Cincinnati needs this game really badly. They cannot afford to lose. Kansas City is obviously the better team, at least right now. But weird things happen with desperation, and Joe Burrow does play Patrick Mahomes pretty well.
That's right.
So
they play him tough.
I'm going to use those 2 points, and I'm going to say that the Bengals will pull this out very narrowly. I'm going to say
that upset pick. I love it.
28-24. I think Cincinnati wins this game.
Every week there is a game that you did not expect to happen at all. The Bengals were involved in it last week against the Patriots, and there's going to be one this week. And I hope it's this one because that would be very exciting. Like you said, they have a history of playing them really well. They have no expectations. The Chiefs might think we're going to dominate this team. We're going to roll over them. And, of course, Chiefs have great weapons. Listen, man, when you look at the X's and O's, of course, Xavier Worthy, Rasheed Rice, Isaiah Pacheco, these guys, Kelsey, even like the other guys, Watson and Noah Gray. And they have a great team. And I really like the Chiefs defense. I like McDuffie. I think he's a great player. Chris Jones is a great player. They're a great team. They're playing at home. But it's one of those unexplainable things, man. The Bengals, Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase, he has another week to finally get in some practice. I like T. Higgins. I like the team. Zach Moss, I think he's just like, okay. Do I live a little and pick the Bengals like I wanted to, or do I go with my brain on this one?
Just do it.
Give me the Bengals, baby. We're getting a double upset pick. Bengals over the Chiefs. Close one, 30-28.
Yeah, it won't be. Yeah.
There we go. All right, the Sunday night game: Chicago Bears at Houston Texans. Texans are a 6-point favorite in this one. Bears didn't look that great on offense. I think they're going to be missing Keenan Allen and possibly Rome Odunze too. Just giving you some information on that, and not to sway your decision, but what do you think is going to happen in this one?
I have no idea why this is the Sunday night game. I mean, I know why they did this, but bro, the Bears are not like up to par right now with that Houston team, and I don't really know what to make of Caleb, as crazy as that sounds. I think he's too talented to like just completely suck. But I am kind of concerned about him doing like the small, consistent, like boring things, right? Like I know he can make like the amazing highlight play, like we all know that. But can he kind of like sustain drives? Can he make like, the boring throws? Like, can he do those things on a consistent basis? That's kind of what we're going to have to see from him. And again, I think that the Texans are a lot further along. Joe Mixon looked good last week. They have a good passing attack. The defense is good. So I think Houston wins this pretty convincingly, and we're all going to be bored at some point in the second half. So I'm going to take Houston winning this one. I'll say 30-17.
Ooh, blowout. Yeah, my feelings on Caleb Williams. He's a guy that was at USC. I watched him closely in the Pac-12 last year. I think he has a lot of talent. I think he plays well, in spurts. But I think when it comes down to it, when he gets punched in the mouth, he doesn't respond. I don't think he's a big game player. I don't think he's a big moment player. I don't think he's going to be nearly as good as a lot of people think. I think there's a chance that he might bust because mentally I don't think he's that strong. I know that's crazy to say. I know a lot of people are really high on him. That's why they're putting him on Sunday night in the second week. And but what I can say positively about the Bears is I think they have a good defense. I think them responding and putting up those, I think 24 points. I think they put them up all themselves, other than some the field goals. I think that they're good on defense. They're gritty on defense. That's what they were last year. But the Texans are on another level. I mean, Stroud and Nixon and Diggs and Collins and Tank Dell, and that team is just scary. I don't think the Texans' defense is that great. Them giving up those long touchdowns to Alec Pierce, I don't know what the hell they were doing. Adonai Mitchell also had some big chances if Richardson was a little more accurate. So I think maybe the Bears will put up some points here. I like Swift. I think he's a good running back, but there's no way the Texans lose this game, especially at Houston. I think they pull away late. I think it's going to be 30-17. Is that what you said as well?
That's what I said, yeah.
I think that's right. All right, last game, Monday Night Football game. Atlanta Falcons at Philadelphia Eagles. Going to be another nice day, 79 degrees. Eagles 6.5-point favorites. These seem to be your NFC East rivals. Oh, why? What do you think about the Eagles?
They looked good last week, man. I can't take that away from them. I mean, it's kind of hard to draw conclusions because of the situation. It was an international game. The field was awful. Jordan Love got hurt late. So it's a week one, right? First week of the season. But with all that considered, they did look good, and we know that they definitely have pieces. On the flip side, I think Atlanta was probably a little disappointing last week compared to what I thought they were going to do. I think they're good enough to win that division. That's kind of how I had seen them, competing for the division, competing for a wild card spot. I thought they were going to be that. I thought they were going to be that kind of a team. So I think they're going to try to bounce back, and I do think that they'll have a better showing this week. I think Kirk will show up. I mean, it's Monday night. I don't know, but I think he'll show up at least for a bit. But I think Philly is too talented. Like, they're too good of a team. So I think Philadelphia will win this game, unfortunately. I'll say, and they're at home too. So I'll say 31-27. It'll be a good game, I think.
Okay. So going for a Falcons bounce back after a pathetic week one, losing to a team that scored 6 field goals on you at home. Here's my promise, all right? This is my promise. Kirk Cousins should not be the starting quarterback of this team. It should be Michael Penix. They picked him 8th overall. He is the best quarterback of this draft. He should be the starter on this team. And I will not pick the Falcons to win until they put Michael Penix at quarterback. Not picking him. All right, I don't care. I like their defense. I think Jesse Bates is he might be one of the best safeties in the league. All right, Bijan obviously great. I'm a big fan of Tyler Algier, Drake London. I think Mooney is maybe their second. Kyle Pitts is their tight end. Listen, they're great, but it takes their quarterback to function, and Penix should be the quarterback of this team, and they're not getting my support at all until they put Penix in as their quarterback. And Kirk Cousins looked horrible last week against the Steelers, who he should have been able to at least do something. Eagles, they look formidable, man. Honestly, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, they even got that Dotson, dude, Saquon Barkley. Bro, I'm looking forward to the Eagles Cowboys game. I think that's going to be a great game. And the Eagles defense, while I think they took a step back, I think they're still good. Jalen Carter, those types of guys. Because Kirk Cousins is starting this game, you're getting no support from me. And listen, man, I'm saying they get shut out. 30-0 Eagles.
Wow.
Over the Falcons. Because Kirk Cousins is starting this game, Penix should be the starter. Put in Penix, and then you'll get my support.
Wow.
So that's
bold, man.
it.
That's bold.
That's it. Shutout on Monday night. So that'll do it for the Week 1 NFL Pick'em Show. Thank you so much, OY. I want to thank NF as well. Inshallah, we can make this like a regular thing again. It'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to this week's games. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Before we get off, I want to get you guys a couple of promo codes, a couple of discount codes to save some money. If you want $20 off SeatGeek, they do sporting events, they do comedies, shows, they do concerts, any type of ticket you need. Go to SeatGeek. Use the code FootballVFootball at checkout. You get $20 off. Another thing, if you like hats and shirts and tote bags, there's a company called Huega House who is partnered with Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen and a bunch of influencers. They make really, really great premium hats. So if you want to save 15% on them, use the code BALL at checkout, BALL at checkout, and save 15%. For NF, for OY, I'm Baggerz. This has been the Football v Football podcast. Have a fantastic day, football fans.